Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time, really. My name is Dan with a H. With me, as always, is my co-host, Tavi. Tavi, happy Lunar New Year. What's going on?
Yes. It is happy Lunar New Year. That's right.
Did you celebrate?
Not really. we just bought some hagals from Coles, the quintessential Asian store.
Were they the Po brand hagao, the frozen ones? They're pretty good.
I don't know which one, but there's a lot of them in one bag. There's like 40 of them.
Oh wow!
And they're pretty good. I mean, they're not going to be the hagals that you get from Yamcha, but we bought one of the pre-cooked roast ducks that has some sauce. We were going to get one of the frozen ones where you have to cook from scratch, but we got too lazy because Lunar New Year was quite warm. I think I was like 35 that day or 33.
Oh, really?
So we were just like, nah, let's just...
It's too hot to be dancing around in a lion.
Yeah. Well, apparently this Lunar New Year is quite special because it's the flaming horse year.
Fire horse,
just the year.
man.
Fire horse, yeah.
It's the most prosperous year.
Yes, the most prosperous year if you're already a big CEO who is price gouging and getting all the profits while none of us will ever be able to afford a house. So big prosperous year.
Every year is fire horse year for those guys. Just do that.
Yeah. But what did you do? Did you do anything for Lunar New Year?
Bondi had their first street festival for Lunar New Year. It's like the first time they've done it, so we went to that. It's pretty good, but extremely unprepared for the crowds that came. Yeah. I don't think they anticipated how popular the event was going to be.
Whoa, so there's Chinese people in Australia?
Well, no, it's mostly white people, to be fair.
That's true.
It's good to see everybody getting into the spirit of it, and lining up for half an hour to an hour for food that is overpriced. But the vibes were there at least.
Yeah, overpriced Chinese food, man. If you're smart, you just go eat somewhere else.
That's what we did. We pretty much went to a restaurant nearby and got food, and then brought it back to the tables at the street festival to eat it. That still took a long time as well. Yeah, it was pretty hectic.
It's a compromise. Yeah, one of my new favorite places to eat now is Nanyang Express.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can get cheap meals pretty decently.
Dirty Chinese food. Love it.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's not like food court food, like honey chicken and stuff like that. It's a little bit more continental, but it's Malaysian. But you can get dishes for $10 and it's filling. And that's unheard of in this economy.
In this day and age. Yeah.
In this day and age. And during like peak hour eating times, it's always busy. There's always a line. So you kind of have to get lucky. But usually when I've gone out to do things, I've eaten there in between those times. And you can get like a chicken chop with dried noodles for about $12. And it's,
that's pretty good.
It's not a small portion either. So it's definitely no frills. You go, you pay, and then you got to collect your own sauces and your own water. But who cares?
That's a small price to pay for cheap food.
Yeah. It's like,
cheap, good food, I assume.
Cheap, good food. It's a lot of people really like it. And it's quite highly rated. I mean, it's like, oh, you want me to bring you water? $8. It's like, oh, okay, well,
it's the budget airline of Chinese food.
Yeah. But speaking of new events, have you heard about the new, even though it's not your favorite series, there's going to be a new Evangelion series that's not by Hideaki Anno. It's done by Yoko Taro of Nier Automata fame.
Yeah, right, okay.
And the Nier series, yeah.
Seems like a good fit.
It'll be interesting. Like, I was always quite staunch on creating a new Evangelion series because it is very much intertwined into Hideaki Anno's struggle with growing up, I suppose, and maturity. So I would just leave that story for the people that like it or not. But of course, this is, the modern world where you got to milk everything for its absolute worth. It's like...
You got to use an existing IP.
Yeah. Let's take a shit on that legacy. Let's make a search for the Gollum movie. Why not?
Let's make the Matrix Resurrections.
Resurrections.
Do that.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yoko Taro, he's interesting. Like, I've never finished Nier Automata. I still have it, but I haven't played it for a while. But then I think I stopped for some reason. I think I ended up getting busy, and then I just didn't get time to finish it and just sort of left it for too long.
Nier Automata seems like it would be a pretty good fit for Evangelion.
Oh, yeah.
Androids and shit.
Yeah, he was very much inspired by Evangelion anyway. So I wonder if he's going to do... Because his writing style, it seems, is very similar to the Higurashi writer, Ryuki 7. Yeah. Where there's lots of alternate endings. So I wonder if that's what they're going to do with the new Evangelion, like different versions of Shinji being sad. Maybe there's a universe of him being happy.
Do you think it's going to be as angsty as OG?
I don't think it'll be as angsty because it's starting from Yoko Taro already being, I assume, a well-adjusted adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
A well-adjusted adult that makes video games about sword fighting made androids.
Well, that's Japan, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It could be worse.
Actually, Hideaki Anno, just for a bit of fun, I think he is making a short animation about Shinji and Asuka and like their life as adults with the kid.
Oh yeah.
And it looks very happy, just the animation style, the one snippet. I'm like, oh, you finally burst free from being Shinji, who's just like, coming on things, I should say. And,
maybe it's a misdirect.
Yeah. And there's another thing that sort of popped up. You probably heard about this. I find this really funny. So I think in Belfast, which is in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
They were having like a K-pop, one of those sort of K-pop festivals where I don't think anyone famous was there, but it's sort of like a tribute to K-pop. So there's a lot of, cover dancers and bands and performers and whatever. You can pay to go. So apparently there's a bunch of Facebook mums who have gotten to social media and they're kicking up a storm.
What?
Because they all brought their kids to go see this K-pop thing. And if you look at the poster, it really borrows the style of animation to K-pop Demon Hunters, right?
Okay.
So they thought the show
they thought it was a K-pop Demon Hunters thing.
K-pop Demon Hunters thing. And they'd say, oh yeah, my kids are all dressed up and stuff, and they're so upset now. And apparently the kids are crying, and there was like mass walkout of this thing because they're like, this is not K-pop. This isn't K-pop. And it's really funny because when they say K-pop, they have no idea what K-pop is. It's just K-pop Demon Hunters is just K-pop now. So it's funny that they had no idea that it sort of comes from this broader cultural aspect of Korea. And then there's like all these sort of fake news articles where they're just sort of just doing poor research and getting clips of actual professional K-pop people. One of the parents were complaining, I took my kids here, and then there's all these like women gyrating constantly and stuff. On their TikTok, they posted Yeji. And it's like, wait a minute, like this place wouldn't have nowhere near enough money to get ITZY to perform there. So they're obviously just stealing anything from the internet. And then these big news corps, I think it was news.com.au and another, the Daily UK, they're like posting this and just zero research, just get the rage baiting. And it's just the idea that K-pop is the new moral panic of the era is quite funny to me now, because K-pop its design is to have a global reach now. And everyone's just getting upset by it because K-pop Demon Hunters has gotten so big.
What happens when you get a global reach? People get upset. I mean, this is Belfast, right? I mean, I have never been there myself, but I have heard it's not the most diverse place to live. So, I mean, I'm just glad that it wasn't like overtly racist behavior. It was only inadvertently racist behavior.
I wouldn't say it's racist behavior.
I thought you were going to say that they were saying like, get these Asians out of our country kind of thing, but it's not that. They were disappointed that the concert did not fit their perceptions of what K-pop was. And maybe that'll lead them to expand their image of K-pop.
I think,
and watch that Cat's Eye documentary on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, that's not real K-pop. But one of the mums did sort of make not an apology, but she made one of the videos sort of slamming the event. But then in the comments she said like, I honestly had no idea what K-pop was, and it's like far reach or whatever. So she's kind of fair
man.
play.
Like it's you got to start somewhere, Like you're not going to be an expert at something from the get go, right? You got to learn about it and do research. So it's fine to not know that much about it. But yeah, I guess before you start complaining, maybe do a little bit of digging to see if your complaints are justified.
I think it's just the age of social media, just that you got to get outraged. But it's quite funny.
It's very reactionary, I guess.
Yeah, because this all happened during the days when Kiss was really big back in the 70s, right? And Dungeons and Dragons was the moral panic of the 80s. There's all these kids and their wizards and their knights, and now it's like, yeah, man, we're just nerds. Like, we're not gonna do anything. Yeah, but religion gets a free pass. That's fine. You can be religious and cause violence. That's okay.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You can't be a.
You can't start holy wars over K-pop yet, but probably in the future.
Well, I mean, K-pop is basically Romance of the Three Kingdoms, where all the fandoms are against each other. Some of the fandoms will have temporary truces and alliances to trounce another fandom, but then turn on each other as soon as the pendulum swings.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
That's the old school Asian storytelling.
Yeah, that's it.
Speaking of old Chinese storytelling, we're talking about Blades of the Guardians today, a 2026 epic martial arts film coming out of China based on the popular manhwa series Biaoren, written and illustrated by Zhang Zizhu. Apologies in advance for all our pronunciations of Chinese names.
So it is based off a comic.
It is, yes.
I thought so.
Of course it is, Tavi. Did you watch the film? It's definitely a comic book come to life.
yeah. I thought so. Because I was like, this would be a really good anime. And funnily enough, it's a comic. Okay, that sort of explains...
2015 manhwa.
That sort of explains some of the choices then, and some of the...
rushed world building.
It does feel a bit rushed, I think. Yeah. That makes things a bit clearer now. Yeah. Okay.
So this is a very recent Chinese film, so I can imagine not many people have seen it at time of recording or release of this episode. So we will do a non-spoiler section and give you a fair spoiler warning before jumping into spoilers. But yes, this film is directed by the legendary Yuen Woo-ping and stars Wu Jing as the hero of the story, Dao Ma. So we got some big names in there. It's also got Jet Li in it. Not a big role, but he's in it. We'll talk
Jet
about
Li's
it.
Return to cinema as it was built.
Welcome back.
Return to cinema. Welcome back.
Well, that's
Jet
how
Li.
it was built in the West, wasn't it? Because he's out of the three people, he's definitely the most recognizable name in the West.
Well, the poster is just his face in the West, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
I think from what I've seen, it's just his face like glowering at you. And it's like, it's going to be a Jet Li movie.
And to be fair, that's the first thing I heard about it as well, is that it had Jet Li in it. But obviously, Yuen Woo-ping is a legendary figure in Chinese cinema. His filmography is extensive, both as an action choreographer and as a director. He is instrumental in bringing martial arts to Hollywood.
Yeah, well, he did The Matrix,
so
right?
He's a fight choreographer from The Matrix, yes.
Crouching Tiger.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Kung Fu Hustle.
And Kill Bill. Yes. So all of these films are very popular in the West and mostly because of his fight choreography.
Yeah. It's undeniable. Yeah. And you see it in this movie as well. There's some excellent fight scenes in this movie. Yeah. Fight choreography.
Definitely. You might say that this film is carried by its fight scenes. But, and of course, Wu Jing is also quite prominent in Chinese cinema as well.
Yeah.
I know him from the SPL series, but he's definitely got a large body of work.
Yeah. I've seen him in a few things as well. Yeah.
Yeah. He's also been in a few Hollywood movies as minor roles, but I think probably his most popular movie would be like Wolf Warrior.
Yeah, the Wolf Warrior movies.
Yeah.
And the first Hollywood movie that I remember seeing him in was The Meg 2. So he shared that.
Oh, yeah. He's in The Meg 2. I
with
forgot about
Jason
that.
Statham.
Yeah.
Because that was partly a Chinese production, I believe.
Yes,
but
of course.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. I think.
Not as famous in the West, but definitely very famous in China. If you're a fan of martial arts, you probably know who he is. Yeah, three pretty big names. He's also got Nicholas Tse in it.
Yeah.
Playing one of the primary antagonists.
He's like Hong Kong born, so he was like a canto pop star back in the day as well. So he's definitely a very prominent figure in Chinese and Hong Kong cinema.
And pop culture in general. The film tells the story of Dao Ma, who is a legendary swordsman who has a past, but he is now working as a bounty hunter. He and his little boy sidekick are traveling the land, hunting bounties, but then he gets a very important mission to escort a revolutionary across the land and everybody wants to catch them, basically.
Across Dune.
Yeah, very sandy China. Yes.
Yeah. Him and Scarlet joining the same universe.
Yeah.
It's just sand.
Oh, maybe it's set in the underworld. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is based on a manhwa, but essentially it is an old school wuxia story, kind of with a modern twist, maybe with some modern filmmaking techniques, for better
Maybe a little
or
bit
worse,
too much
I would say.
modern filmmaking techniques.
Yeah, I kind of already know how you feel about about some elements of this film. But let's start with the positives, shall we? I mean, action. Beautiful.
Action's great. I love the action in this movie. It's very fun. It's pretty violent at times as well. So it's not pulling its punches at points. There's one bit where like I had to give the film a whole extra half point. It involves fatalitying someone. Where,
yeah, I
like,
think I know
Wu Jing,
exactly what you're talking about.
He axes this guy in the neck and then spin kicks his head off.
Yeah, I love how after that happens, it cuts to the other guy, the guy that's watching, and he's just like, "Ooh, that was sick." And he's got like this face that's like, "Oh yeah," and that was me in the cinema, Tavi.
Yeah, that was sick. Yeah, like the fight scenes are fantastic in this movie. I like a lot of the character designs in this movie, even though we might have said that the world is quite rushly built. But a lot of the designs are very, they're just cool. So you like them without having to build them up too much. I mean, you've got the Jade Ghost guy. He's got like the long hair and
Jade face ghost,
sort of and the leader of the rebellion, the Flower Rebellion, who's got just constant makeup on that doesn't somehow seem to dry out in the desert.
That guy. I mean, like they're trying to secretly escort him across this desert while avoiding attention because it's very important to get him there unscathed and everybody's looking for them. Yeah. You don't want to pick something a bit less conspicuous than fucking white face paint and a
that stands out that no one else would do. He's got to, I respect that, man. It's like if Kim Kardashian was going to trek being carried by the second most wanted fugitive, she'd still want to do it in style.
Yeah,
she wouldn't let that,
I guess if you have a signature look, you can't just give that up, eh?
She wouldn't let being murdered stop her.
Yeah, she definitely wouldn't.
Well, I gotta look good.
Yeah. But yeah, the designs of everything is pretty comic booky, but it doesn't really feel like cosplay.
Yeah.
I've criticized shows, especially Netflix anime adaptations, for feeling very costumey at times, and like they just look like people in cosplay a lot of the time. But this still feels grounded enough, I guess, to feel like you're experiencing a real world.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it goes over the top. And like the CGI effects, when there are CGI effects, are pretty good. Like it never feels... Oh, except for one bit maybe where...
Yeah, I think I know which thing you're talking about, but we'll get into that,
Yeah. But no, I think the world building that they do manage to squeeze in, like the visual world building, it all looks quite good.
Yeah.
And that's strengthened by the performances as well. Everybody's playing it pretty straight. Nobody is overly goofy.
It's sincere as well.
Wu Jing as Dao Ma is just great. Like he's very charismatic.
Yeah.
Adds a lot of depth to the character, even though he doesn't speak that much. But you get a sense of his humor. You get a sense of his broodingness when it's necessary as well. So yes, he can be both goofy and serious. Tony Lung Ka-fai's in there.
Yeah, that's it.
Doing a bit of scenery chewing.
The actress that plays Ayuya.
Ayuya.
So
yes.
I read that they had an original actress, but she did something to upset the apple cart, to say the least.
Yes.
So she was banished from the film, and they had to do a ton of reshoots. So I think she came in pretty late.
Ayuya is a pretty main character. So it's not a small role. But yes, due to controversy involving the original lead, Nashi, she basically had to be replaced by Chen Lijun, who is an opera actress. And yes, they did have to do a reshoot. It's only an 11-day reshoot.
Oh, wow.
Obviously it added a lot to the budget of the filming. I read that going in, so I was expecting it to be quite jarring, but... I don't think it was super jarring. Like, I think they did a pretty good job at putting the new actress in there in a way that felt pretty... Because, like, I remember there was something like this happened to a Hollywood... Oh, yeah, it was Zack Snyder's fucking Army of the Dead movie. right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they had filmed everything and then one of the actors got into a controversy. So Disney or whatever decided to remove them. I guess it was Netflix. Netflix decided to remove the actress and replace her with Tig Notaro. And it's very noticeable. Like it feels like her lines were shot very isolated. Like she's never in scene with anybody.
Yeah.
But in this movie, like they obviously brought Wu Jing back for the reshoots because there are scenes with Chen Lijun and Wu Jing in the same shot. So I didn't feel like it was that noticeable. How about you?
I think for me, she integrated pretty well because there are a number of shots with her interacting with the actors within the same space. But this movie, and maybe it's to its detriment, this is a big budget movie, but they shoot these movies with the chance that they can change things. So the whole movie seems like it could be shot with we need to take out an actor in mind. There are a lot of wrong lessons learned from Hollywood because this is a big budgeted film, and I'm only looking at the wiki, but it seems that this budget is 123 million US. This is not an indie film, right? But my biggest gripe with this movie, there's just too much in regards to the efficiency of shooting rather than the intent of shooting. And what I mean is it's the same issues that I had with Send Help. You know, there's too much isolated shots where it's not serving the story, but it's serving the idea that they can change something if they want to. And I guess it's the I've never really talked about it in this term, but I always forget the terminology. But it's called blocking. If you're familiar with that terminology in film, it's basically the composition or choreography of placements of actors and props and objects in a frame to tell the story. Well, that's like mise en scène and all that. But it's also involving like movement as well, where there are some really beautiful shots in this film, but then there are also some really ugly shots in this film. And as excellent as the fight scenes are, and there's numerous fight sequences, they are just a bit too edited, I think.
Yeah. Nothing is really shot that wide. And this is kind of like a modern filmmaking kind of thing as well. Like Yuen Woo-ping, the films that he's famous for, everything is shot wide. These are like the films from the 70s and 80s, right? Like the Shaw Brothers type of films where all of the fight sequences are basically shot wide. But it is a very different style to what is common nowadays, even in Chinese cinema. Like we talked about this when we reviewed Twilight of the Warriors Walled In, right? Like we also had that same criticism that a lot of the fight scenes felt heavily edited. And at the time I said as maybe it's because the actors are older, but I don't think it is the case. I think it's just a modernization of martial arts cinema.
But it's just that a lot of that art form is lost. Because if you're comparing with Yuen Woo-ping's other films, even though he wasn't directing them, but Crouching Tiger Man, that fight scene between Zhang Ziyi and Mia Xiaoyou it's legendary, you know? It's quite simple. It's one location, but it's the telling of the story of the power struggle between the both, and Michelle Yeoh just having to switch weapons constantly because she can't best Zhang Ziyi using Green Destiny. That's awesome. That's great. It's visual poetry to an extent. Whereas this film, I don't think it's going for that visual poetry, but I don't know, maybe it should. And again, like I kind of made fun of it saying, it's they're walking through Dune, but there's too much sand in this movie, you know. It gets a bit boring to look at after a while. So there isn't enough use of blocking, of using the world to make it really feel alive. Because I think the costuming is great in this movie. Like one of the characters I really liked barely has any lines or does anything. It's like the side antagonist, the chick with the Wolverine claw and the eye patch.
Oh yeah,
like I don't know anything about her, but she's just cool, you know. But there's just not enough use of extras or just using the space. Unfortunately, I don't want to sound like I'm overly criticizing this movie, because there are points where I'm like, for me it's sort of more it's a shame, because I would have loved to just walked out of this movie and say, this is super fucking refreshing. And Chinese films are capable of that. I mean, remember walking out of Nurture 2? It's like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, but that's animation. So they have the chance to perfect the frames. But with this one, it's just, they're sort of trying to fit in too much story. And now that you told me it is based off a manhwa.
Makes sense, right?
Manhua, because I know manhwa is Korean, manhua is Chinese, and manga is Japanese. We won't get
it's all
into
Mongolian beef. Whatever.
Yeah, it's Mongolian beef. It's all fried. It's all fucking honey chicken or General Tso's
California
chicken.
rolls.
Yeah. I just wish there was a bit more care in that. I think it's trying to up American cinema at their own game, where Chinese cinema should up what they are already good at, and just keep that visual poetry language, you know?
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I don't think it's there in this film. It's a cool action blockbuster film.
With the lack of that visual poetry, as you say, it does end up feeling a little bit generic, which is a shame, because you know, a lot of work went into the fight choreography and the fight scenes in general in this film. Like Yuen Woo-ping made all of the actors in main character roles train for weeks before actually filming anything. Systematic closed training, including traditional martial arts, swordsmanship, and horse riding, which are all difficult things, you know. And there's a lot of fucking horse riding in this film. It's like a action set piece where he's jumping from horse to horse. I haven't seen anything that cool that's horse-based since Legend of Zorro, Tabi. That's
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
But that was CG. But yeah, there was a lot of horse.
Yeah.
There's one scene that has a lot of horse jumping.
Chucks a horse at Abraham Lincoln in that scene. That was pretty good. But you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of really solid ideas and really solid performances. But yeah, the way that it's shot does make it feel a little bit wasted at times. That said, the fight scenes are very enjoyable to watch, and I think there is a bit of a modernization to it where it is kind of cut that way to make it feel a bit more impactful. It's not my favorite type of editing for a fight scene, but like I think that's just kind of like what modern martial arts films are now, and it's kind of like,
but like, look,
you kind of have to make your peace with it.
Not that long ago, this might get me banned, but you watched the Kenshin series, the Japanese. I guess sort of Chanbara Wuxia.
Based on a manga.
I was rewatching some of the Kenshin movies, like bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
And you can just see how much more precise each frame is.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the main characters that are in the Kenshin movies look more cosplay, but the world itself feels very alive. There's never really a sense that it seems shots were composited. And the camera is much further away from the actors usually. So you are using the blocking of the production design. There's a lot of extras in the background. And the stories are a lot more focused. So you get a sense when there are moments of emotional gravitas or when the fights do happen, the personal stakes feel much higher. And just the fight scenes, the edits are not as fast. And it feels real. Whereas this one, it's edited more like a Hollywood film. Like the shots are a bit tighter, but to the credit of the actors, it's still like, you know, fairly wide. And as you said, the actors were training hard to do the fighting.
It's them a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Even Jet Li. Fucking Jet Li is like, he's 70 at least, right? And I was watching it because I was sure that it wasn't going to be him for a lot of it. But he's in there. He's fucking moving like a 40-year-old man, Tavi. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
After such a long break from filming anything as well, like it's very impressive to see a man of that age move like that. Because he has a fight scene with Wu Jing and Max Zhang. Oh, that's the SPL2 reunion.
Yeah. That was a great fight scene. Yeah.
It's like the best one in the film.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's great to see Jet Li do all of that.
Unless there's some amazing like face replacement technology in China, which I wouldn't discount either.
But I wouldn't put it past them. China's a big advocate for AI.
Yeah, so I am going to assume that it was him, and good on him, man.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you just got to live like that.
I'm hoping that I can move that well at 70, or even be alive at 70.
I can't even move like that right now. Because I could just collapse.
Not many people can, tell me.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent fight scene. And I really like all the characters in this film. I think they're all very fun and they're all very comic booky. There's a Jade Fox guy and his sort of bounty that he's going to bring along I guess she's like a prostitute.
I think that's the implication.
Killer or something. Yeah. So it's effective in a sense that they don't say that much about her, but you get her character through her performance and you kind of get her backstory. And even with the two antagonists as well, I forgot their names, the Wolverine chick and Nicholas C. Like, they're all very cool. And Ayuya has her own story. But again, it's because it's trying to cram in so much story that there are emotional beats that didn't really land with me.
They kind of crammed them all into one scene, basically.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but it's not, Grave of the Fireflies by any means.
Well, yeah.
Even though the actress does a great job of showing anguish at that point, it's still like,
spectacular. Yeah. It's just there's too much happening for one movie. If they had the benefit of more movies or a series, some of the characters feel a bit underbaked. I feel like especially the revolutionary that they're trying to escort feels a bit like a confused character. Like, is he supposed to be philosophical? Is he supposed to be intelligent? Because he's pretty goofy at times.
He's pretty goofy. The goofiness sort of came out of nowhere.
Well, but that's also quite like a manhwa
it is like
thing
an anime,
as well, right?
Manhwa,
So, but if you're not familiar with the trope, you'd be like, what's the deal with this guy, right? Like
why do people respect him? Why is he always in makeup? Yeah, it's true. Because I think this movie was made for the entertainment first aspect, but it's also, this movie is designed to have an international appeal as well. Whether or not some of the Chinese filmmakers would say, no, this is made for Chinese audiences alone, they're definitely trying to bank in on some international acclaim for this film. And I think people like this movie.
Yeah, I think it's a very accessible Wuxia film. Yeah, I don't think you really need to know much about the genre or even the manhwa that it's based on to go into this and have a good time.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty self-explanatory. They exposit enough of the story and they build enough of the world for you to get into it and invested in it. And I think the emotional beats, I think when they relate to Dalma, they work.
Yeah, I think so.
I did, kind of feel his story more than
the others.
Maybe Ayuya's story. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, they are going to have more movies because it does end on a note where they're like, there's going to be a sequel.
It's just kind of open-ended, but we'll need to see how well this film does, I guess. Because Yuen Woo-ping doesn't really do sequels, not that many to my knowledge anyway.
They'll just get someone else.
Yeah, they'll probably just get somebody else. Right?
You'll just get someone. Like, the thing is, and I don't mean to discredit Yuen Woo-ping. He adds a lot of flair to this movie, especially for the action. But for the rest of its technical aspects, they could get anyone to do it. I think you would just get your run-of-the-mill director who's just like, I need these shots.
Yeah, you're right. Like, you definitely feel competence in what's happening, but you don't really feel individuality, right? Not like you would from any of his older films, which is a bit of a shame. But I do appreciate that, these three names, Yuen Woo-ping, Jet Li, and Wu Jing, they are from three different generations of martial arts cinema, basically. And they're all working together to make this movie. Like, Wu Jing is the producer of this film, right? So I feel like there's a lot of that sentiment in this film as well. I'm pretty sure there's a direct nod to it in the post-credit scene. But yeah, it's kind of like paving the way for the newer generation of martial arts filmmakers, I think.
Yeah.
And like, modern times call for modern methods. We might not like it as old millennials, but
I don't know, man. I think that's a bit of a cop-out answer, to be honest. Like, I think you are advancing too much to the point where you're losing the craft aspect of it. Sometimes you need to look back to the past to see why such films hold such resilience and legacy. And I don't know, because this movie is still fresh, I don't know if in 20 years' time people are still going to be talking about Blades of the Guardian, but I know people are still always talking about The Matrix. People are still talking about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. People are still talking about Kill Bill, for that matter. Are people still going to be talking about this movie? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. And I do get that you have to pave the way for the newer generation, but I think you should not disregard the foundation of what was laid before you because some things are just better in the past as well, you know?
It's always that argument of like CGI versus practical effects, right? Like both can be good, but both have their place in cinema. So you can't just throw away practical effects because you have access to CGI. You can't just throw away actors because you have access to AI technology, I guess. So, I get your point. And it is true. We got to make room for the old stuff that works as well. Because like I said, Jet Li is like the highlight of this film. And he's 70. So come on.
He is 70.
Come on, guys. But before we get into spoilers, do you have any final words about this film?
I wouldn't say this is an excellent film, but this is a very enjoyable film. Even though I just said that there are a number of shots that aren't the best looking, I think this film does deserve a big screen watch. I do regret not watching this on a cinema with a bigger screen, with a bigger sound system. I just watched this at Crown, and ironically, Crown, which is one of the premier spots in Melbourne, it's where the casino is. It's a prime entertainment district, but their village cinema there is kind of shit. It reminds me of Event Cinema, Dan, to be honest. The way that it's laid out is very old-fashioned, but not in the good sense, in the sense that it has no personality and the movies don't feel alive, not like the ones at Hoyts. So I wish I had saw this at the new, at least even the new IMAX screens that are in Hoyts, because when there are some really big action sequences, you can actually feel it in the sound design as well, which I should give the film credit. Like, I think the sound design is really good in this movie, especially during some of the crunchier, more impactful fight scenes where you can feel the hits. I should have watched this in D-Box or 4D. It might have been better. But
you would have been so sore if you watched this in 4D.
But I'd just be covered in dust. Just come out, just brushing all this dirt off me because of all the sand. Get my head cut off. I'll get like roundhouse fatalities. No, I think this is worth a watch. Go watch this in the cinema. I think you'd probably get lost at some points, because I think I did as well, because of just all the different factions. But I think the spine of the film carries itself enough through that it's still very easy to follow in terms of its plot.
I think it's a bit more accessible than something like Nerdza.
Yeah.
I guess because Nerdza has like a whole mystical element to it and gods and shit that adds another layer to the stuff that we already don't really understand fully. I think this is kind of like a pretty good entry point to this genre. That and Twilight of the Warriors, I feel like you get it without having to have a lot of the background knowledge. And if you do have the background knowledge, then it probably adds a lot of depth to these stories as well.
Yeah.
Shall we get into spoilers?
Yep. It's your final warning. Spoilers.
Yes.
Okay.
So Jet Li gets killed pretty quickly.
Jet Li dies. This is the return of Jet Li.
Look,
the governor has been killed.
No ambiguity.
Because I thought they were going to do the whole like he gets healed or something.
Like they just stab him. Like they don't decapitate him or anything.
But there's just this throwaway line. It's like the governor has been killed.
Yes, they do add that line in to make sure you know he's dead.
Well, he's not going to come back, guys. He's dead.
And like I went into this knowing that he probably wasn't going to be in it much.
Yeah, if you watch the trailer, he's not in the trailers very much.
But I think I was very satisfied with his output in this film. Like I was so impressed by the fight scene that he does have that I was like, yeah, that's enough for me. And it really sets the tone of the film as well in terms of like the quality that you're going to expect from the fight scenes. Even as like he's a phenomenal actor all around as well. Like there's a little bit of dialogue between him and Wu Jing preceding the fight, and you can feel like it's Jet Li, he's back. Like it felt very kind of like there's a lot of gravitas in his performance, right? He's just got a lot of charisma.
The governor is dead.
See you, Jet Li.
Poor Jet Li. See you, Jet Li. Yeah, he's got to go make YouTube videos now.
So be it.
It is probably the best fight scene in this film, and it definitely sets the tone. It's sort of like in Forbidden Kingdom, which I'm not sure if Yuen Woo-ping did that, but it's sort of, okay, you guys wanted to see Jet Li and Jackie Chan fight, here it is early, and then you don't have to worry about the rest of the film. I think they were sort of trying to do that, but there are a number of like also very good fight scenes. Like the final fight between Wu Jing and Nicholas C is quite excellent as well. Like there's a decent amount of environmental destruction, and there's also just like using different weaponry, and the lighting is all really good. And
they both get really fucked up during the fight.
Yeah, it's pretty well shot actually. I think the second half of this movie is where the budget in terms of fights went more to, because they're
what about the CGI sandstorm fight, Tavi?
Yeah,
Not great.
It brought it down for me. Yeah, this is sort of the big issue that I have with Chinese films trying to match Hollywood too much. It's because Hollywood is relying too much on upping the ante in terms of the scale of where a fight scene can take place. And it looks so fake. It looks like it's on a sound, it obviously on a sound stage, and doesn't even look like wind machines are blowing on them. It just seems like a lot of the all the hair particles like fluttering in the storm is all CGI because they're not blinking, you know.
And you got Nicholas C coming in like drifting into frame on the sand. It all looks very cartoony. And we've said this before, like CGI has never been the strong point of Asian cinema. And like this film is not really an exception, even though they're trying to push it, and they probably are pushing like their visual effects to the limit of how good it can be, but it's not quite there. And even compared to like latter day Marvel films, it still feels too cartoony.
Again, it's with the way that modern films are done. This film would have been finished in a couple of years, I reckon.
Yeah, without the reshoots, it would have been...
Yeah, without the reshoots.
Just a bit over a year, I think.
Yeah, again, it's just not enough time to do a scene like that and to make it look good. But this is a $123 million film. And if you look at the budget of the Kenshin movies, these films are significantly lower in terms of what their budget was. I think they're 20 million each. It's 20 million. That's not small either, but it is almost an indie film, you know. All their fight scenes look much better than any of the fight scenes in
but it's different countries as well, Tavi. Like things cost different amounts of money in different countries, you know. People get paid different amounts.
I mean, it's China, right? Like, do you think, you know,
it would have
$128 million then?
I think Wu Jing would have taken a lot more money away than whoever produced the Kenshin movies.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need to scale it to what you have. But regardless, this is a $128 million film, Dan. I don't care who's getting paid.
It's a lot of money.
I don't think Wu Jing is not getting paid a Robert Downey Jr. amount of money. Or maybe he is. I don't know. He's a big actor.
Yuen Woo-ping's pretty big name as well.
Yeah. But I don't think even he is going to be demanding that much money. Not to the extent of any sort of, you know, Brad Pitt or whatever. But $128 million is a lot of money, Dan.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money considering you're just filming in a desert for a lot of it as well.
And the thing is, because they're shooting with that efficiency in mind, it's actually more expensive to do it, to make it more flexible. Whereas if you are shooting with blocking in mind, you can actually save a lot of money to sort of just have the two actors together on screen. You're not setting up two different cameras.
Right.
You just rehearse a little bit, you know?
That's why Peter Jackson spent a full year in previews before he actually filmed anything, right? Is so that he knew exactly what he was doing for every shot of the Lord of the Rings films.
Yeah, but there's just a lack of time. I think with that fight scene, you don't need to be in a giant sand. Just have, again, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it's a room. And there's not...
Or sometimes it's on a bamboo forest or whatever, but...
Yeah. But like you don't need to up the stakes that much to just spite Hollywood. I remember watching an interview. It was during the days when Wolf Warrior was coming out.
Yeah.
And Wu Jing was sort of saying, we want to make films on par with American films. So we're Chinese. We can make films that look as good as American films, you know? The implication is that we are trying to play the game like Americans, but we can do it better because we have as much money.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's sort of like, there's these really fake CGI wolf-looking things. But that's kind of the wrong lesson, you know?
It's funny because that's the same lesson that Paul W.S. Anderson took when he was making his Mortal Kombat film. He's like, Hong Kong cinema has great action, but their movies look like shit. I think we can do it better.
But again, it's just... I think you should just stick to telling Chinese stories and using Chinese craft to give it your own visual style. Because that's why people, I mean, I'm not sure if it's why people, it's why I generally enjoy these kind of films a lot more, because it is a distinct Chinese flavor to it, you know?
Yeah. That's why Nerd Zao was so good.
Yeah.
Because it felt very Chinese, right?
Yeah. Nerd Zao was great. You know,
not just in its storytelling, but in its visual stylings as well.
Yeah, it's just, I wish that they didn't try to do that so much. Just try to keep things a bit simple, you know. That's why, I mean, look at The Raid, for example. This is a $2 million budget film.
Yeah.
And these are just excellent fight scenes. And it's just in a room, you know, with actors just going for it, you know, rather than just this CGI mess. And it really
maybe it happens in the manhwa, who knows.
Maybe, because this was shortly after the fatality kill, which was fucking cool. And it's like, oh, maybe this is a 4 out of 5 movie, because I was like, that was fucking sick. And then this fight scene happened, and I'm just like, it just really, it kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. I was like, oh man, I really want to love this film, but it picks back up after that, which is good. It does pick up, because I think that final fight scene is good.
The whole final act is quite good. What do you think about the ratty guy?
He's fun.
The Khan. So he's Khan. Betrothed to Ayuya, but they broke their engagement. So he's got a chip on his shoulder against Ayuya's dad, who is played by Tony Leung. So
Tony Leung Kai-Fai, I think.
Yes, he ultimately betrays Tony Leung Kai-Fai. This motherfucker can't stop betraying Tony Leung Kai-Fai. He does the same thing in Shadow's Edge, Darby.
Actually, to make a point on the Shadow's Edge as well.
Yeah.
You have Tony Leung Kai-Fai and Jackie Chan in that final fight sequence, and it is shot mostly wide, and that's where that movie does shine, because its fight scenes don't have that much editing, and they're still pretty wide. That also has a lot of really flashy Hollywoodisms, but I think the fight scenes are pretty well shot, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty edited, and that's also because of their combined age as well. Yeah, and Tony Leung's not really like a martial arts guy as well. So there is a lot of stunt doubling involved. I don't know, because I was comparing Jet Li's fight with the Shadow's Edge fight scenes, and I was like, Jet Li's fight actually is a lot better. Like, you can see a lot more of his face in this fight than you would have done in the Shadow's Edge. I think the difference is that style of movie suits that kind of fight editing, right? Like, because it's an espionage film, so it's more like Born Identity, I guess. Whereas this is a Wuxia film, where you know, you're kind of conditioned to stuff like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, right?
Maybe.
Or any number of the Chinese examples that are actually Chinese films. I know some people from China don't like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon because it's, you know, Hollywood fucking exoticizing that genre, but whatever. It's a good movie, all right?
I don't know. I feel like that's just because Ang Lee's Taiwanese. But anyway.
Anyway, let's not get into that whole kettle of fish. But yeah, you know what I mean, right? Like, when you're watching an espionage film, you're conditioned to a certain kind of fight choreography and fight scene. Whereas when you're watching a Wuxia film, you're not expecting this kind of editing. And I think that's kind of where it falls down a bit. It doesn't feel like a Wuxia film at times, even though the story is a Wuxia story. And all of the heroic characters, you know, they all fit the tropes. But sometimes it just feels like a modern day action film, which is, it clashes with the idea of traditional storytelling.
It makes it a bit generic. And going to Tony Leung Kai-Fai's character's death, it just sort of happens off screen. I think there's some pretty good melodramatic acting from Ayuya's performer. I forgot her name.
Chen Li Jun.
She does a good job, and she does the typical like crane shot where she yells like no, and then it just like cranes up. Yeah, I love that shot. It's cheesy.
And then goes into rage mode. I liked her rage mode. That was fun.
Yeah, but because I knew it was his head in the box. And I did feel a little bit, but I wasn't sad. I was like, oh, it's kind of like, oh, these motherfuckers, rather than just like, oh, that's kind of sad.
I think it's because their backstory was kind of shoehorned in, right? Like, they just added that scene where he's walking barefoot through the desert because he wants her to be happy and not marry that douchebag, right? But it feels very kind of shoehorned in.
It does, yeah. And even Wu Jing's character's backstory about why he has his son, or the son with him. Not sure if I entirely got it, but I get it enough. But it's those two characters. They're a bit shoehorned in as well, even though I really like those two characters. And honestly, the character death that I actually sort of felt the baddest for was like the Wolverine chick. Just because I thought she was cool, and I was kind of, oh, that's kind of sad, and that's kind of bad because it's like she has no character, but it's like just because her design is cool and she does cool stuff, and it's like, oh, I would like to have seen her like do more shit. Like that was cool. Like why is she wearing an eye patch? Why does she use Wolverine claws? Who knows? But she gets wrecked by Jade guy, and it's like
Jade Face Ghost, who I enjoyed. I like the Jade Face Ghost.
Yeah, he's fun. But yeah, it's just, again, there was too much story. I think they needed to focus on one aspect of this story and then cut it in half and have a whole film.
Well, it's hard when you don't know if you're going to get a sequel or not, right? You want to
because you've got aging actors and whatnot. Yeah, it's tricky, but I don't know. Just animate it. It's animations for kids, right? Yeah. Man, this movie would have been a really excellent animated epic, I think.
I don't know, man. I don't know how hard Wuxia hits in animated form, because to me, the impressive aspect of Wuxia is like all the wire work and the ballet of it all, right? And it's much more impressive when there are actual humans doing it than when it's animated people, right?
I don't know, but if they're shooting this style of film, this style of sort of more manhwa-related action, I think... If it was animated, it would have looked better. If that sandstorm scene was in the manhwa and that scene was animated, it would have looked way better. Would you agree? Rather than just a CGI.
Well, it probably would have looked the same, but it would have fit better because everything else would have been animated, not just the sandstorm. I see your point. Like it's the manhwa fighting against the Wuxia format, I feel like, which... Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a Wuxia anime. Maybe it would be awesome, but to me, the impressive side of it, I feel like would be lost in animated format. Just do Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again, I reckon. That's a good film.
I guess with animated, you don't have to worry about aging actors as well.
That's true.
It's because Wu Jing is old now. He's in his early 50s, so you can only really go so far unless... the film pivots and it's like about Ayuya's story or whatever she's doing. And that's fine. But I think that actress is in her 30s as well. Yeah. Which is, it's still quite young.
I mean, Jet Li's in his 70s, Tavi, and he's still running about, jumping about.
Yeah, but he's dead though.
Maybe Dalma will get killed in the first act of the next film.
Dalma has been killed.
Wu Jing's return to cinema.
Wu Jing's return to cinema. Yeah, but look, I'm actually pretty excited to see another Blades of the Guardian. It sounds like I'm pretty critical of this film, but at the end of the day, I did find it enjoyable. And I know, like a lot of the times, I watch a lot of films that are heavily flawed, but they end up being some of my favorite films of all time. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's, did you enjoy the movie? Yes, then good. I've done my job, right? Yeah. You know, but I think to this point, there was just like too much in terms of its technical department that was wrong. And also there were bits where my suspension of disbelief was cut off a little bit. You know, when Ayuya goes into rage mode and she's kind of billed as like the Legolas of the group, right? Yeah. She's really good with a bow and arrow. And then she wants to kill the guy who killed her dad. Don't hit his water bottle. Hit him.
Yeah, true.
Hit his head.
Was only a few. You've done it before. Shoot him in the head.
Yeah, and like he was still, and you were still. You had the shot.
It was the first shot she fired.
Yeah, maybe it was because it was the first shot. But then when she's on horseback and then there's the other guys charging at her, she's suddenly like 100% accuracy, one shot kills.
That guy didn't even dodge. She just missed.
And also, there's another side character who doesn't really get that much attention, but it's the auntie character, Annie.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit where Ayuya is captured by the Khan and she's sort of tied up and stuff, and the Khan is about to do nasty things to her, let's say. And then he's on top of the bed, and then Annie, she has to jump on him, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't know she's there on the scaffolding of the roof, right?
Yeah.
So she can easily jump and stab him. But don't, like that, I get it. It's sort of a movie thing, but that guy would have been dead, and you're a fighter. Instead, she lands, yells his name, gets beaten up, and her face smashed into the wall. And then, and that was too much for me. I'm like, oh, like you could have just killed that guy like so easily.
That guy has a lot of plot armor.
Yeah,
in general.
It's too much plot armor. I sometimes don't mind plot armor. It depends. It's all a balance of whether all the other aspects of the film is good. But yeah, I'm just like, that guy had way too many opportunities where he could have just died. And then it's like, well, that's the end of that. I can just go send this Flower Rebellion guy to where he needs to go. But it needs to happen for the plot. And then, so then just,
Sometimes it's frustrating. And the fact that you felt frustration probably means the film was doing its job.
Yeah, maybe.
It elicited an emotional response, Tavi.
not just contrivance, but yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I think I would like to see more from this. Probably even if it's not Yuen Woo-ping directing, I'd still watch another one of these. Obviously, there's a lot more room to grow for this story. I'm sure there's a lot of source material that they can draw on still. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
If Wu Jing gets old, they'll just get someone else to do it and just use AI to smooth it over.
I heard they did use a little bit of AI in the credits, but I'm not sure in what capacity. But,
Was it the little animations?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past China.
They love AI.
They do.
You seeing those Sea Dance clips, Tavi?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise fighting Brad Pitt over who loves Epstein more?
I didn't watch it, but I've seen screenshots. Yeah, I don't know. I've met some Chinese filmmakers, and they have made short films. And they're nice people, but they have used AI for like machine translation, and you can just tell. And it's kind of like, like if you had just got a person to do it, like it would have sounded a lot more natural, Yeah. So I'm not sure how much I really respect the embrace of AI. Like, I don't know. It's just it's unfortunately something that I'll have to get used to. Like, modern filmmaking techniques and AI is just not going to go away.
Cost-cutting measures, Tavi. Cost-cutting measures. Nothing is free. But no, this film's enjoyable. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I feel the same way about this film as I did walking out of Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In. I think it's a good, fun, comic booky time. And I would be stoked to watch another one.
Yeah.
But what did you think about Blades of the Guardians? I will say, not a great name for a thing. Like, it's Blades of the Guardians. I feel like one of them should be singular. But whatever, it is. It's Blades of the Guardians.
I didn't. I thought it was just Blade of the Guardian, but I guess I thought it's Blades of the Guardians. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue
several
somehow.
People. There's several. Blades
I know.
And several Guardians.
Like, narratively, it makes sense, but it just doesn't sound good. I wonder if that's a literal translation or if it's a how to make millions before my grandma dies situation.
Worst title
ever. That said, Twilight of the Warriors Walled In is not that much better. So.
That's not great either. Yeah. It does sound like it's a Chinese film though, somehow.
But anyway, guys, what did you think of this movie? Did you like it? You a fan of the manhwa? How does it stack up to older films of this genre? Let us know. You can get in touch with us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram at @twoasianblokes to see what we're up to. Till next time, Happy Lunar New Year if you celebrate it.
Yes, Happy Lunar New Year, everyone. Enjoy your red pockets and spend it all on good stuff.
Yeah. Year of the Fire Horse, baby. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time to make that money.
Year of the AI CEOs and conglomerates. Woo.
Year of Sea Dance 2.0.
Yeah.
Year of our feed getting flooded with AI slop. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Tung 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 sahur. I'm not even going to get into that, man. That's fucking...
We'll see you later,
catch you guys later.
Bye.